Oh, well, you hardcores. We've got Richard on in Germany. How are you doing, Richard?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
All right, what's happening over there?
Um, well, it's not very good weather, but I'm taking my wife to a concert tonight, so we've flown over here. Fly back tomorrow. So yeah, we're just going to kill a bit of time this afternoon. Going to go to a classic Porsche museum, I think, and then we're going to go to a concert tonight. Have a bit of steak later on. So
Oh, it's a bit like Pretty Woman, isn't it? That film.
yeah, we didn't fly over in a private jet, mate. Euro wings.
Did you watch boxing at weekend? You see Canelo Triple G last night?
No, we're obviously an hour further ahead here, so it would have been a late one for me. So I've seen results. Not surprised at the results. Read a little bit about how the fight went. Again, didn't surprise me. I think he won fairly comfortably, but a bit of a chess match from what I read.
Yeah, yeah. There wasn't really much difference between all three fights. You know, it's because it depends how you're going to score it, I suppose, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, I'd have to watch it myself to sort of have an opinion on the scorecards, but a couple of judges had it just one round in it, didn't they? 2 rounds in it, sorry. So
Yeah.
if they won one more round, it'd have been a draw, wouldn't it? So I think one judge had 4 rounds up. So I think by the sounds of it, he won it quite comfortable. All the press is saying that he should have won. So
yeah, Canelo winning.
Yeah, I don't think. Have you managed to see it?
Yeah. I had Canelo winning.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
He's tough, Golovkin, but he's knocking on now, isn't he?
it's a big difference. 8 years, isn't it? 30, and for middleweights as well. You know yourself, 40 years old for a middleweight. It's some going that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's a middleweight. He's not a super middle.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously he's been fighting at light heavyweight, hasn't he? Canelo.
He has. He's been necking them protein shakes down, hasn't he? And moving up to light heavy. So he should be too strong for him. So I think Triple G or Triple H, one of the commentators called him Triple H before the fight started. Yeah, he did. Yeah, thinking of wrestling, I think. So I think he can hold his head up high. He's a bit of a legend, isn't he? Triple G. He's just knocking on.
Yeah. What do you make of all this Eubank Ben carry on and Richard? What do you think to it? All this, it's on, it's off, and it's dangerous. And what do you think?
I don't know why it's on, it's off going on. I don't know why Senior's trying to insert himself into the picture because it doesn't take any selling this fight.
Yeah.
So it's already sold out, hasn't it? And it's going to get plenty of pay-per-views. So I'm not quite sure why it's all going on. Maybe it's a last-ditch attempt. They've tried this before, you know. When with Frank Warren and the negotiations broke down for Billy Joe Saunders, who were trying to get more money, weren't they? Yeah. And it broke down, but I can't see them trying to get a bit more money when they're going to get whatever 5 mil each. I just don't understand it at all. As for the dangerous thing, we talked about this before. I think there's massive risks for Ben, but like I said before, if we're just going to pick one fight, we might as well say that nobody moves up or down for fights because you know people have moved up throughout history, and I'm not putting Conor Ben in the same ballpark as you know legends like Leonard and Duran, things like that. I'm not doing that, but my point is that these guys moved up 4, 5, 6 weights, and there weren't a lot of fuss kicked up. Maybe they should have been, but there wasn't. So if we're gonna stop people doing it for the right reasons, which are health reasons, fair enough. But if we're not, just let them crack on and get on with it.
What do you think about everybody saying that Eubank's not going to be at his best because of rehydration thing, and the board allowing a fighter go into the ring and he's not going to be at his strongest? What do you think to that?
Same answer, mate. I think that everybody who dropped so much weight, how much weight was Nassim Ahmed dropping? And it caught up with him. It caught up with him in end, but you know, it's the same answer. If we're going to stop it, we're going to stop it. He might not be at his best, but that's the point of catch weights. If he's going to move down, he needs to not be at his best to give Ben a half decent chance of making a fight of it. And three, I know what people are saying. I heard Spencer Oliver say that at that sort of level, when you've dropped so much weight just to make 160, that next £3 for 157 is like a normal bloke dropping an extra £3 at 3 stone, should I say? I'm not too convinced with that. He's not super tall. He walks around in shape all the time. He's going to have to go in a sauna until the day before and do what everybody else does, and that's not great. But all the trainers that are knocking it, they need to look at themselves and ask if they've ever had fighters that they've had to reduce weight, not just champion fighters, but journeymen who want a few quid, and it's the only way they can get some money. So if they've never had fighters that have had to do saunas and sweatsuits and skip up morning at fight, that's fair enough. But I doubt there's many of them about.
Yeah, because everybody's trying to gain an edge, aren't they? But do you feel that sooner or later we're messing with these weight divisions and stuff? There's going to be a rude awakening, and there's going to be an accident. Touch wood, they're in.
Yeah, there could be a possibility where somebody's rehydrated so far that, and I know it's said a lot, where the fluid in the heads is what drains first, and that could leave them more susceptible to a severe knockout. I get that, but again, I'll say the same thing. If we're gonna have controls regarding rehydration, it should be for everybody and not just one fight. Like I say, everybody seems to be getting on the bandwagon about how dangerous it is for men, which I kind of agree with. But like I say, it's a case of if you're going to do it for everybody, and everybody takes risks, not just in boxing. And it's a really severe risk, but everybody takes risks in the jobs and work in dangerous situations, and he's getting a massive reward for it. 5 million quid's a lot of money. It's going to change his life, even though he's already loaded. So I think it's a risk, but they need to do it for everybody and have something where, if you're a middleweight, you're a middleweight. If you're a super middle, you're a super middle. Within reason. Half a stone, walking about half a stone every year in your day-to-day life, or maybe even stone every in day-to-day life. That's one thing. But if you're not a middleweight or you're not a superweight, campaign at the weight you are, just because it means that you won't be able to win anything. Then that's just tough. But at the moment, it's allowed, so it should be allowed for everybody. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you on that, mate. I agree. But what's good for goose is good for gander, isn't it? But do you think that Conor Ben should have just concentrated on being a welterweight and trying to achieve something at that level first before?
Yeah, as a boxing fan, yeah, because I think that he's got a lot of potential. I know that you and Kent have given him a lot of stick over the years, and I think that as he's got better, I think you were right to give him stick. Eating seats and all that crap. But I think we're right to give him stick at that point. But I think he's won you around a little bit, hasn't he? Yeah, now he's been campaigning at Welton. I think he has got potential to win something, and he's got potential to be a good champion for this country. But it's the same old thing, mate. It's that, isn't it? We all like a bit of dosh, and that they just their head gets turned, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you think that they're concentrating too much on selling Conor Ben the superstar rather than the actual fighter? Because there's a lot going on behind the scenes, isn't there, commercially? And he's having to act up to this kind of role, isn't he, kind of thing? Because I've heard he's not really like that.
Yeah, I think that because Earn is losing his stars. He's one of the few people that's got that potential to generate a lot of revenue for Matchroom.
Yeah.
Especially now Joshua is he's going to be riding off into the sunset anytime soon. Especially if he fights Fury.
Yeah.
That could be the end of his career. It don't have to be, because it's only 3 losses. And as an heavyweight, it shouldn't really mean that much. But as regards generating revenue after the Fury fight, his opportunities are going to be even more limited. And same for Matchroom.
Yeah.
So who else has Matchroom got coming up? Young enough, in the mid-20s. Who have Matchroom got that's going to potentially generating that kind of revenue stream? They're not. They haven't got anybody, have they?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. They haven't got any stars coming through, have they? Dalton Smith's not ready yet, is he? And I don't think he's that type of personality, is he, like Conor Ben?
No, he isn't. No, he's quiet as a mouse, isn't he?
Yeah, he can fight though. We're not saying he can't fight, but
he can fight. He was a bit messy. He was a bit messy in his last fight, but he could, he's managed to get him out of there early on, and he just looks a bit rusted, isn't he, for the first 3 rounds? But
he's 1 foot future.
He's 1 foot future, yeah. I think that. Sorry, mate. Outside it's a bit noisy. Had to do it outside because of obviously having this. It's a bit noisy. Yeah. So, and especially with when he took a chance on people like letting Huey go and not doing enough for Huey, and a couple of other people, and Ben Shalom and Matt and Sky have stepped in and picked a few up, haven't they? Picked what they thought were people worth leaving, and now Joshua has sort of had his day as regards revenue generation or massive revenue generation. They might be looking back and thinking that's a bit of a mistake.
Yeah. Because he's struggling for British stars, isn't he, Eddie?
Yeah, he's struggling for British stars. And obviously, he does a bit over the water. But if you just look at the heavyweight scene now, it's still fairly buoyant from a British point of view.
Yeah.
And he's got one fighter under contract, hasn't he? Because Dillian White's not under contract, never has been. It's been a fight by fight. From what I understand, anyway, it's been a fight by fight basis. It's let Huey go. Joshua's obviously
contract match him, isn't he?
Yeah, he's obviously like I said, he's going to be selling off into the sunset, and he's not going to be generating revenue. So just look at the heavyweight scene as an example. Who have Matchroom working with?
Well, anybody can leave anytime they want, can't they?
Yeah. So I think Eddie's been trying to get into a situation where they can sell it at some point in time. I don't personally think Eddie wants to be in the business for another 10 years.
No.
I think he's smart enough to realise that
it's not good for soul as well, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, you look at, you've got to take your hat off to Bricktop, haven't you? Because he's been doing it. He's 72 now, is he?
Yeah.
And he don't look too bad on it, to be honest. He looks apart from his eyes, obviously, but he don't look too bad on it. But I can't see Eddie Hearn doing another 10 years at it, because he's got bundles of money, and if he could generate enough interest to sell Matchroom as a going concern, not just boxing but all of it, I think there'll be a time in his life where he wants to sit back and enjoy his money a bit more than he does now. Because no matter what you say about him, he's never at home, is he? So
no, his ego's too big in it to walk away. I think, though, personally.
You think he won't walk away?
Unless they were going to give him a chat show like Jonathan Ross or something. His ego's massive, isn't it? Come on.
Yeah, it is. It is. He could do something in the podcast world, and he could be a pundit. It's whether people are going to still think he's relevant. If he's not actually involved in day to day, that'll be his problem. So yeah, that ego could be an issue for him. But however big your ego, and it's been the downfall of a lot of people in boxing, haven't they? They can't step away from it, whether they're fighters, coaches, promoters, or whatever. I mean, look at Bob Arum. So you could have a point. You could have a point there, mate. I'd just like to think he was smart enough that he could step away from it and enjoy his cash. Because at the moment, it's great having all that cash, but if you're not spending time with your family and you're away all the time, what is the point?
We're not all like you, Richard, jet setting everywhere around Europe on the weekend, though, are we?
Yeah, well, I ain't got. The difference is I ain't got bundles of cash, so there's a big difference there. If I got Eddie Hearn's money, I won't be working away every other day and travelling from. I mean, I don't know what his own life is. Maybe he wants to get away from the missus. I don't know, but it's not for me.
You'd be on a boat somewhere, wouldn't you, Richard?
I would be enjoying the money without a doubt. I could, no problem. These people who say, oh, Euro lottery. I need to check my ticket, by the way. These people say, oh, Euro lottery, 130 million. That's too much money. Well, if you want to buy an house for 131 million, you've not got enough, have you? That's how I look at it.
What do you see happening with Fury and Joshua, Richard? Are you tired of it now, or do you think it'll happen?
Yeah, I think it'll happen, and I think
Yeah.
Fury will embarrass him so much that he'll be even more devastated. His psyche and his head will just go all over the place. He'll I think it's a bit of a cash grab. He sees it as an opportunity. One of his last major paydays, and I think Fury will embarrass him. That's what I think.
I
He's
think
a bigger, faster, stronger version
yeah.
of Usyk. He can do everything and more that Usyk can, and he's potentially going to knock AJ out. So I think it could be a really embarrassing time for him. And I think the Fury predicting that it could be over in 5 or 6 rounds is bang on. What about you?
Yeah, I think that Tyson's like a crocodile waiting at river for wildebeest to cross, and Joshua's wildebeest, isn't he? I think he'll destroy him leading up to it. He'll not know whether it's coming or going. He'll be looking in the mirror, talking to himself. He'll torture Tyson, right? Will torture him. I swear to God, he'll torture.
You're right, mate. He'll have him beat before he gets into the ring.
There'll be a big John Fury on the scene as well. He'll be throwing his tuppence in. They'll not know whether they're coming or going. They'll all be in tow, won't they? Big Shane, all of them. They'll all be, a lot of them. They'll torture Joshua and all Joshua's little team around him. They'll be like lambs to the slaughter, won't they?
That Joshua team, I know there's a few big lads in that team, but they're not going to intimidate Furies, are they?
What?
It's just not going to happen, is it?
Oh, is it?
It's not going to happen.
They'll be loving it, man.
It's not going to happen. They're going to try and intimidate. They're going to walk outside, and the Range Rover will be on bricks.
Tyson will burst in dressed as Superman or something. He'll fry all their heads. He'll have something up his sleeve, Tyson. He'll do something.
Well, I don't take any pleasure in. I ain't got a problem with Joshua. I think he's done obviously very well, as I've talked about before. So I don't take any pleasure in it. But you can just see it happening, can't you?
Yeah.
It's not. He's going to be beaten before he gets into the ring. Tyson will destroy him. He'll get in the ring. He'll play with him for a few rounds, and then he'll probably knock him out, or there'll be a very, very bad stoppage. And AJ just won't know what to do inside the ring, and he won't know what to do outside the ring either. That's how I see it playing out.
Well, like people say, he can fight all styles. Kind of Joshua's really got two gears. Fury's got 7 gears, hasn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Joshua's only got a couple of years, and the bad thing about that is he's not even using them anymore. He's frightened of what's coming back, and we've talked about it before. You know, he just thinks for that split second longer than he should do, and he don't let his hands go. And you've got to take a chance. It's all right overthinking and thinking, wait for the perfect shot.
Yeah,
that's never going to happen. That perfect shot, particularly against people like Usyk and Fury, that's not going to happen. You know, you didn't get Wilder doing that with Fury, did you? At least he tried to throw a few, and he knocked him down by doing it. Yeah. That's the only way you can stand a chance against him. You know, especially when you've got a lot of power like AJ has. But I think if he tries to, box and overthink it and look for that perfect punch, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. It's where do you see Dylan White in all this now, Richard? In this little script.
Cheers, mate. Where does he go? He's got to just have maybe a fight with Joshua, because again, that might be it's not going to generate the Fury money, but it's going to generate some money. Yeah. A decent payday for both of them. So I think they'll both be up for that, especially White, because he loves a pound note as well, doesn't he? Rightly so. But other than that, sorry, mate, it's a bit noisy again. Can't do a lot about it. But
okay.
I think that I think everybody's got to wait for Fury to retire, aren't they? Or they've got to chase one of the belts that he hasn't got.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to retire, because they look at it as sparring sessions and millions on table, won't he? Because he's that far ahead of the rest of them, isn't he? Really?
I think so. I think he's that far ahead of them, and I think that it's like you say, it's what motivation is he going to have? I think he's only got motivation for 2 more fights, which is
he's got
AJ.
That presence about him, hasn't he, now? Whereas when he's coming to the ring, it's like the big dog's here. He's got that aura about him now, hasn't it? And I think that aura, I think Dylan White, when he got in ring, I think he were beaten. I think he has got that aura about him now.
Well, if you look at, we've talked about this offline, but if you look at Dillian White's body language before that fight and everything leading up to it, it's all right saying, you know, there's mutual respect, and I think there is a lot of that going on. But it's again, what's White been about all his career? He's been about being a bully and intimidation, and his team are all that way. But they just didn't try that, did they, with Fury's team?
No, did they? Because well, could you imagine if that would have gone off? No,
yeah, it'd been doing a bloodbath, wouldn't it?
It'd have been. But he turned up for he took his money and went, and basically, it's like I've said on here before, and I'll say it again. It left a sour taste in my mouth. I mean, Bricktop's no angel, but they put it on, didn't they? That show, and they delivered, didn't they? The actual fight, didn't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he didn't
I understand.
Promote it, did he?
No, he didn't. It was too little, too late, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think. Well, sorry.
Go on, mate.
I was going to say that I think that Bricktop's got a right to say, yeah, he's not even helping with promotion. I thought that were in bad taste, me, personally.
Yeah, I did, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ern had a bit to do with that. And I just thought it would. I agree with you. It left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, go on, mate. Eddie wouldn't have liked that, would he? Put on other foot. But if you remember, when O'Hara Davis went up to Scotland to fight Josh Taylor, he wouldn't help with promotion, would he, with McGuigan's? Do you know what I mean? I thought that were in bad taste as well.
Yeah, it was. I agree with you. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it were disrespectful to the fans as much as anybody else. To Fury's camp, when he did too little, too late. He should have been all over that, trying to generate more pay-per-view fights.
What do you think?
Pay-per-view fights, sorry.
Yeah. What do you think to Joe Joyce Parker?
I'm looking forward to it. I want Joyce to win. I don't think it's an easy fight for him. I think Parker has rejuvenated himself a bit under Andy Lee. He looks a bit fresher. I still think he's, like a lot of people have suggested, and he's mentioned it himself, that people are saying that he's just on that downward slope.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably right. I think his best days are behind him, but I still think he's a worthy opponent for him, and I think that it'll be a tough fight. I put it like 55-45.
You've got Joyce as favourite, obviously.
I have, yeah. I think that I just think he'll wear him down in later rounds. If he's got to, Joyce, Parker said he's got to throw punches in bunches, and he does do, and he's got decent power. But unless something's changed overnight with Joyce, I think he's going to just take those all day. I think he's going to have a sore head after the fight, Joe Joyce. I think he'll get caught because I think Parker's a lot more talented than his last opponent. Was it Elenas he fought last? What did he fight last time?
Forget now. Forgot.
But I think he's more talented. I can't remember his name. I think it was Elenas, but he's got more talent than him, and I think he's going to have a sore head, Joe, the day after. I think he's going to get caught left, right, and centre. But I think he'll just be too much for him towards latter end of the fight, and I think he'll catch him.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I've got Joe Joyce on points. He just keeps coming forward, doesn't he? He's like Michael Myers, isn't he, in Halloween? Just keeps coming, doesn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he keeps coming, just keeps getting up. Don't keep getting knocked down, but he just keeps coming forward. Like you say, I think they need a shotgun, don't they?
Mm. But, what do you think to Huey against Hunter next month?
I think Huey does him. You know what I think about Huey. I think there's still a lot of question marks, and we need to see him out. So we need to see if what Peter's been saying is right, and I've got no reason to believe that it's not right. Because again, I don't think Peter talks knackers, does he?
No. You think that?
But I want to
go on. No, I was going to say, do you think that Peter gets a lot of stick because he said Yui's getting his man strength and all that, and it seems to have took a life on it of its own, that, doesn't it? Yui's man strength. But really,
It does.
just turned 20. Is he 28 next week or something?
Yeah, it's about right. I think he's 26, 27 now, which is still
28, I think, this month, isn't he? I think
still young for an heavyweight, mate. And he's got another 10 years in him if he wants it.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of fights, but he's only had 2 or 3 really, really tough ones. So he's got plenty of miles on clock if he wants it. But he's got to start being healthy. He can't help that, but he needs to start being healthy. We need to see what Peter's been doing with him for the last 2 years. And if Peter's right, we could be seeing some good things. And I'd like to see it as well, because I think that Yui's got a similar style to Tyson. And if he can, and he's a big kid, isn't he? 6'6".
Yeah, he's a lump.
He's a lump, so if he's got that potential, and if he's got that real spite in him, and he's got that real confidence, if you can get the sort of confidence that Tyson's developed over. I mean, Tyson's a different character. He was born confident, weren't he? But if he can develop that confidence and get that spite and press his skills and in his strengths, it can play to his strengths. I think he can do a lot of damage. We've just got to see it. We've just got to see him at ring.
Yeah. What do you see happening with Savannah and Clarissa?
Wife's here. She's come to get me. I think
we'll finish off on this one.
I don't agree with Peter on this one. I think Savannah will comfortably. Well, actually, I do, because Peter said that if the best Savannah turns up, she's too much. She's too much for Shields, and I think that's right. But I think it'll be a lot more comfortable than Peter's predicting. I think it'll be towards later rounds. I think she'll stop her. And when I say late, mid to late rounds, I think she'll stop her. I think she'll be too much for her. I think she keeps her on the end of that jab. She's too tall for her. She's got too much of a reach for her. And I think she'll wear her down and she'll get disheartened and Jack.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, that's what I think. I think Savannah stops her. She's a freak of nature, Savannah, power-wise, freakish. I didn't think the girl could hit that hard, from what I've seen.
Well, this is the thing as well, and there's not. I know plenty of women do spar with men sometimes, but if the sparring partners that he's fetching him are men, and even if they're only journeyman fighters, they know how to throw a punch. And if she's sparring with those people, she's a tough cookie, isn't she? And I just think she's going to be too. I think Peter's underplaying it a little bit, and rightly so. He's showing Shields respect and all that business. But I just personally think he's got too much for her. She's got too much for her.
Yeah, I think she just runs over her.
I'm not a massive fan of women's boxing, like I've said before, but fights like this,
we can get behind this one. It's worth a pay-per-view, this, isn't it? I think. Yeah,
it's yeah, I think there's 2 good fights on there, because it's the same undercard, isn't it? It's the same joint co-main event with the other 2. So that's worth it. That's worth buying. That I can't wait to see that fight. So let's hope it goes ahead as planned. I couldn't believe why they had to not have it in first place. I just don't agree with that at all. The fighter's not getting paid. Everybody else had to go to work, didn't they?
Yeah.
So why couldn't we have football and boxing on? I didn't agree with it.
Yeah, I agree. Okie dokie. Well, listen, thanks for coming on. And you've got a great day ready here now. Where you going around Dusseldorf?
Yeah, we're at least it's not like in the UK and Germany, on a Sunday everything stops. So for me, that's a good thing, because it means I don't have to spend any money on shopping. You know what I mean? So we're going to be going around the classic car museum, and then we're going to be doing a concert. So my wallet will be not touched today very much, apart from going for a steak. So I'm quite happy
shopping,
about that.
Richard. Window shopping.
I don't mind window shopping, mate. I don't mind. I'll send you a picture later. That's some with the missus with some sunglasses on that she was looking at buying yesterday. I was praying that she didn't want them. I was praying. I'm not religious, but I was silently praying.
Get ready then. Get ready.
They don't suit you, them, love. I said they don't suit you. They don't look very good, them. So I hope she don't want them.
She's got sunglasses.
Mate, she's got more sunglasses than I've got watches. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And she's got 80% of them at the same style. So we're trying some on yesterday. And I said, you've got about 10 pairs at the same style as that. But
I don't know.
like I always say, mate, happy wife, happy life.
All right then. Well, you take care.
All right, mate.
Cheers,
Good
mate.
talking to you. See you later. Bye bye.